Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And with that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors.
Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records. From indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records. Supporting the community, one track at a time.
All right. Thank you all so much for watching again. Shout out The Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Yo, I go by the name of Suave.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, bro. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, what you do. Give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Shit. I'm a artist, producer, DJ out of Hillsborough, Oregon.
Oh yeah. And what got you started into music initially?
My house always had music in it. My dad plays guitar and he was in bands, and then my uncle was always into hip hop, and I was like, this is for me.
Oh, yeah. I dig that. Was your dad also in bands and stuff growing up?
Yeah, but we're Mexican, so he was in
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Okay. He had the large guitar.
That fool had accordions. He had drums, guitars.
Oh, okay. It's a multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I always have mad respect for anybody who can play accordion properly. That is a bananas instrument in the world of things to know.
No, for real. I'm like, that shit's a workout apart from. I'm like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm. And there's so many buttons.
Yeah.
There's so many. Nobody realized that there's 8,000 buttons.
It's like reading Braille. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So mad props to him for being able to hold that down. And then I guess, what was the first moments of making music for you?
Probably fucking around on his drum set when I was a little kid, but the first time I ever actually made something was on a Casio piano that he also had. Mm-hmm. It only took 2 tracks. So I would lay a melody down and then record whatever the fuck after, and then I would live play drums on top of it. And I just remember doing that forever.
Okay.
But it was just 3 tracks, I couldn't do anything else.
You were really, really struggling in the producer realm.
Yeah. I was like, what is this?
Most with the least.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I dig that. And then when did you move into more of the production side of things?
Probably when I was 12 or 13, I want to say. I bought an MPC for $120.
Whoa, okay.
And I was like, this is tight. Yeah. And I just remember I've always wanted to chop samples, and I would just find old songs or records or YouTube, whatever the fuck, and just chop them up and make some beats.
Which MPC was it?
It was the MPC one, the small, thin.
Oh, gotcha.
It wasn't a fucking.
Okay, so it was was it one of the controller ones, or was it still standalone?
No, it's one of the controllers, so it still needed to be plugged.
Okay, yep, I know exactly which one you're talking about. Okay, hell yeah. No, I dig that. I it's somewhere in here off camera, but I have a fully modded MPC 1000.
No shit.
My favorite thing in the world.
I bought an MPC Live 2.
Yo, those.
I'll take some mushrooms and go to the beach and just
the
back beats.
The Live, in my opinion, is one of the most capable standalone devices that has come out in the last 10 years.
It's so sick.
Yeah, it's maybe not 10 years. That's a broad step, but currently, I think that it is doing the MPC legacy so much justice.
Yeah,
and I now understand why they took so long between when they put out the 5000 to when they actually got back to putting standalone ones out.
I was super close to buying the machine. But the fact that I needed a power bank, like, in order, I was like,
yeah, it's just kind of
like, I want to be able to be anywhere. So sometimes I'll go on hikes with my MPC, throw up a hammock, and fucking just, make beats for a couple hours. Like,
my keyboard player jumped on it a little early on when like the first live came out, and like I'm not saying it was entirely due to me being like, you need to get this, you need to get this, you need to get this, but I was really like, we were doing active music stuff, so I was like, hey, it would be really cool if you had this,
right?
And now that's
crazy.
That's like the main thing that they use all the time, and sometimes it's like they'll produce whole stuff on it that you hear it and you're just like, how did you make this?
It's so capable.
Yeah, and the updates are so good, and they're always making new stuff. Shout out to Akai. You really did it again,
dude. Honestly,
yeah.
The only thing is, like, I like to make a lot of synths, so like I work on Ableton a lot, so I'm always working on wavetables. The standalone synths that the MPC Live has are kind of ass.
That's fair. I mean, it can't hit 100%.
Yeah,
but have you tried the MPC keys yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's fucking, it's cheating for real, because you can set it on like chord mode, or you literally are always in key. Like,
yeah, but so many other things are offering that now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it's a fact that it can do it detached from everything.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, everything is doing it, but it's like everything isn't doing it in the woods.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it has like a standalone speaker that honestly isn't bad.
No, that
you can like
surprises me every time.
It's cool to be able to jam out an idea, knock a beat out, and then like play it for the people around you. Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
All right, but this became a very big NBC Live
promotion
real quick. Let's get back into you. Guy, Ableton, please sponsor. But getting back into it, I do have a couple of foundation questions I like to check in with everybody on. And this first one, it's one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
The first album I bought, I think, was Get Rich or Die Trying.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Quality album.
Yeah.
Quality. What led you to that?
Dude, I remember being in my uncle's car, and at the time he was super into hip hop. And like there was just buzz about this dude about to drop an album who was just going to change the game. And I was like, well, I have to be part of history. You know what I'm saying? So
fair enough. Hell yeah. And then what was one of the first live shows you ever went to? That was like specifically one you wanted to go to.
I think the first live show, this is kind of skewing the question a little bit, but the first live show that I went to that I paid for was Odd Future. So
okay.
Their first time in Portland. So it was like, I think Earl had just gone to Samoa, but it was like Haji Beats, Tyler, fucking Left Brain, Sid, and Damo, and like, I mean, fucking.
Yeah. Damn. That's wild.
Yeah.
Now I guess I want to know, because you had so many musical people in your household though, what was the first live show you remember going to?
Dude, probably like some sort of Latin, like some Spanish band. Like, yeah.
Hey, I mean, I grew up in the Bay Area, and so I got to experience that a lot. It is definitely always a good time.
Yeah.
And then before we officially get into you in the present day, do you have a defining moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
Not really, man. It's just kind of always been there. I mean, like, I feel like hip hop's just been in my life, like always, from coming up just listening to it. And then I dance as well. So being a b-boy, like hip hop has literally been embedded in me. And like I've been fortunate enough to be around so many DJs and like producers that it's just like this is what I want to do.
You really had no chance of anything else.
Music is it,
Hell yeah, I dig that. Well, let's go ahead and let's get on into you in the here and now. We are going to get a super easy one out of the way. How'd you pick the name?
Suave. So like I said, I've been breaking for like a little over 13 years.
Okay.
And some of my mentors, I like always have super long hair. And when I was a kid, they're like, you look like a fake ass Rico Suave.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's just what they called me, was Rico Suave. And then just like,
you just dropped the Rico.
And it's just been Suave ever since.
Oh yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
I guess now, before we get into it further, I do want to know a little bit, because I didn't realize that until now. How did you get into breakdancing? Kind
of super similar to music. Like, it's just always been in my house. Like, my dad played a lot of instruments and my mom was always kind of grooving. So like I learned how to do like salsa and bachata and cumbia for my mom. And then like, I watched like You Got Served and I was like, dude, I want to do all these fucking flips, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I went in my backyard and I learned how to do flips and stuff. And then
You just always waited for it to be raining.
dude, the rain is so detrimental in the grass, dude. I'll slip, snap my shit, dude. It's terrible, you know? But like, then I was fortunate enough to meet this group in Portland called DEFCON 5. Like, they're super, like, I guess they were super influential at the time. Like, DJ Wicked is one of like the only all vinyl DJs out here. Like, he's super big in the hip hop scene, and there's a like Mighty Moves is out here as well, and like just super big people in the scene. And they were like so willing to bring me under and you know, kind of show me the ropes of everything.
Oh yeah, well that's right. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
But getting back into the here and now, let's go ahead and talk about your writing process a little bit. And we're going to break it up into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning. So when you get inspired, you're ready to make music. What are some of the things you do to get a track started?
It kind of depends. So sometimes there's a melody in my head. So because I make all the beats that I write on, if I have a melody, I'll make a beat that I think will fit the melody, you know? But a lot of the times what happens is like, I'm just like, I'm too tired to go dance. I'm too tired to go do flips or whatever. And I want to be creative. So I'm going to go sit down and make some beats. And as like, I just kind of let it free flow. If I get a good groove making the beat, like I'll be writing the song as I'm knocking this beat out. And by the time I have the beat fully like flushed out, like I have an intro, whatever, verse, chorus, like the song will be written already in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as like getting the words out, do you like write them down as you go, or do you just retain them the whole time?
It's kind of like a mumble. So like, it's like a feeling that I get and I'm like, okay, like this kind of feels like this. And I'll like kind of say a line like, okay. And then I'll work that line as I'm, you know, still making the beat, like flushing everything out. And once I get that first line, then it just kind of flows from there. And it's just like repetition. I'll like da 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 da, but nah, okay, then I have that, and then I'll move on, and it just like,
hell yeah,
thankfully stays. You know,
I dig that.
Yeah.
Hey, you're better than me. If I don't pen to paper as soon as possible, it's gone.
Yeah,
it's gone forever. So
I feel like when I pen to paper it like I lose my flow.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Sometimes if it's like if I'm going super fast, what I'll do is I'll do just like, I guess like dictation lines, or I won't write the word, but I'll do a line of what my like inflection sounds like.
Interesting.
You know, so I remember how I'm doing.
Yeah, so you're like almost composing yourself in post.
Yeah, you know.
Interesting.
So I can remember like what the flow is, but most of the time now I'm just like voice memoing it so I can I can just like remember what the verse is, you know, because I low-key hate punching in.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking annoying. Like, you know, like I'd rather just have the verse done and be able to flow it all the way through, because to me it sounds more natural and it sounds more complete. Like whenever I'm listening to somebody, it almost like feels like I can hear that they punched in, you know?
Yeah.
As opposed to when something is just like smooth all the way through, which is what I want, you know what I'm saying?
Well, then when you're doing it all by yourself, the like need to like get up and hit the record and go over to the thing and do it. Or if you're one of those people who like figured out how to like be here and then be here, it's still the dividing of the process.
Right.
And it's like, you know, you can't just ask somebody to come over like in your space and be like, hey, can you just keep
literally.
And even worse, like Ableton does a good job of letting this work, but like having to loop up a spot and just like go through the same sentence like 10 times to like find the way that works. Yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't quite land right. And I could definitely, for your style in particular, I could see how like not wanting to punch in would really stand out. But we'll talk about that in a moment. I have a whole
word.
But first, is keeping in line with the creation of the song, how long does it usually take you to get comfortable enough to perform a track once you've gotten it written?
I mean, truthfully, dude, I've never performed a track. Like, I DJ a lot and I MC a lot, like just host, but I've never performed any of my music.
Interesting.
But I used to do like the Blazer halftime shows and like a lot of big gigs for Nike and Adidas and Wine and Kennedy and shit. So it's like performing isn't necessarily anything that's new to me.
Yeah.
And it like speaking on a mic isn't new, but I've never felt like, I don't know. it sounds kind of funny, but like I've never felt like my music needed to be performed, or it's like it's just not there yet. You know what I'm saying?
I gotcha. That's interesting. I've had a couple of people on the show who have been like, I haven't performed yet, but that is a interesting experience and like way to approach it. So I'm super curious for like the day when it finally happens where you're like, I'm doing it, guys.
It just I don't like. I was in Japan a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago, and I went to a couple like local artist shows. And I've been to a couple local artist shows here, and there just feels like there's something lackluster of an upcoming artist like singing their song. It's cool to see someone so passionate about their music and presenting it, but I'd much rather go see like an upcoming band than an upcoming rapper. Interesting, because like in a band, there's like something interactive. There's something keeping me entertained, as opposed to like an artist or a rapper is just like he's up there with a mic, just like kind of talking at you. Yeah. You know, it sounds so funny because I love hip hop and that's what it came up off of, was someone preaching, you know, and like speaking. But it like, I feel like if I were to perform something, I would need something to like, I don't know, make like, be more engaging. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever thought about getting like a 2 or 3 piece like live music support?
Dude, yeah. So I'm working with this band, called Fighting Jazz, and we're like writing this kind of a rock song together, but they're like, dude, what if we just like kind of piece the songs you have together? Yeah. I'm like, that's too much pressure. Well, you
see, and you know, now we'll segue into your music, because I have some specific notes on that. And I just realized my thing did not give me the right information. It didn't update. So I'm going to go to my other technology here, and we're not seeing this. This is all staying in the episode, but it didn't update correctly, and I'm upset. All right, so
posted it.
Yeah, you think so, but we're leaving it in. We're leaving it in. All right, so I went and checked out your music on Spotify, and first of all, it's a solid catalog. Like, you've got just the right amount of music. You've been doing it since 2020, at least putting music out since 2020, and the things that really jumped out to me, on top of it just being tight, like your approach verbally is very articulate, very put together. Like I said, I can tell how you wouldn't even want to punch in certain spots on that, because it just goes. But it's interesting because your music is all very diverse. Like, you know, I even checked out your most recent album, and there's a lot of different feelings in your music. There's a lot of different elements in your music. But one thing that really stood out to me is that you have a lot of organic sounds. Like, it's not just electronic sounds. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with an artist named Lentra. You definitely like Lentra and what is it, CEO.com or something like that. Some other in that realm. They do stuff together a lot, and you've definitely got a really similar feel. So it's cool to know you haven't checked them out, because I think if you check them out, you're going to be like, oh, this is kind of a vibe.
Yo, you'll have to put me on.
But I think your music does have a lot of organic elements in it. And what's really fun about taking music like yours and translating it to live instrumentation is that you get it is instantly different. Especially because, you know, you're going to have to limit how many things are being played at one time. Right. But also, you have your MPC live. Like, so that can pick up some of the slack. Right. But you can leave a lot of room. And when artists pick up the music, it creates this whole new energy. It creates this. And then, like we were kind of talking about off camera, suddenly your live elements have this whole different experience than your recorded music.
Absolutely.
And people get that becomes, like you were saying, how you want the experience on stage to be its own like remarkable thing. Just the fact that it is instruments playing it makes it this whole other world, to where like you're almost doing remixes of your own songs, but they're not. They're the songs, and they get this whole new experience. So
it's like a new life to them.
Yeah. And you get to choose how they get presented from there. So you don't have to do the full versions. You don't have to do exactly the way you did it before that some people are stuck doing because they didn't get a live beat version or they didn't have a backing experience. So now you get to, like, you could medley your music if you wanted. You could have like 3 songs that flow into each other. You could have something where it's like you start off and just play the first half of one, and then you're like, no, we're going to change it up and we're going to do this. Like, you can add in things that only happen live. Like, there's a lot of room that happens.
For creativity in there. Right, absolutely.
And I mean, even your most recent track, Tokyo Garage, that is a really high energy track. It really brings like this big, wild, energetic experience. And like, could you imagine if that was done live? Like, could you imagine if you had like a drummer backing that?
Right.
Like, that would be insane.
Crazy shit.
Or even if you had like a bass player and a saxophone player, which I know, aren't exactly the elements in there, but like that translated in, and then the MPC picking up the slack on those like specific ear tickly sounds and beats, it would blow the roof off of places.
Yeah.
And you have so much high energy music that you could keep a vibe going and then easily transfer it into something a little more lax, which I'm sad. I like the first song on your EP would be like a great example of like one, and I can't remember what it's called now. I'm sorry. But like that would be like a good wind down track. You have so much diversity that you'd be able to do like a solid like 25-minute set.
That's
with
crazy.
A live band.
You know what's so funny? So my SoundCloud has music that I've posted from like 2014.
Damn,
I went
going on there now.
Through it the other day. I was like, oh my God. Like, I was like, why do I still have this shit up?
Dude, that's fun though. Like, I think, being like another thing we're saying off camera, like the past experience and then seeing like the now. Yeah. Like that's enjoyable. People really do enjoy that.
Some of it's kind of cool. I don't know. 'Cause some tracks I'm like, dude, this is terrible. But other tracks I'm like, I can tell like I spent more time on it, It's like whether it was a beat, like there's more little like ear candy in there, or just like there's a little bit more attention to detail in certain things where I was like, damn, I need to.
What'd be fun is going through it and trying to find the things that became sounds of yours later.
Oh, interesting.
Like going through and being like, oh, that is a thing I do now, or I remember this being the first time I tried that technique and it ended up being like a go-to thing that I just love. Yeah. It'd be cool to like break down your own old sound and like discover the you that came from it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that as an episode. That would be a fun take.
When I blow up,
Yeah. But getting back into it, I've talked a lot about, your experience already. I am curious to know, since you haven't performed any of them yet, we have to modify the question lightly, but what are some of your favorite tracks of yours? Like either like through creation or just like experience?
I really like Tokyo Garage. It took me a long time to make it. But it's just like, I like high energy shit, So Tokyo Garage is cool. I have one on SoundCloud called Gal that I really like. Like the sample off it is like this Portuguese singer who I love, and it was like it fits so well because at the time I was going through like, I don't know if I really do like this girl, I don't like this girl, and it's just like it was one of the times that like everything just flowed out the way it was supposed to. Like I didn't have to fake any line, I didn't have to fake like any feeling. Like everything that was said was like exactly how I felt, and it like somehow it just happened to rhyme. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Okay.
So it was like, that song is really cool. I like Blown a lot just because like that was the first time I tried flowing like continuously like that for a while. But yeah.
Okay. And would you say that was one of those moments where you discovered something that became a later style?
Which one? Oh, maybe. But like I'd been making beats for a long time. And for a moment I was trying to make 30 beats before Thursday. I think it was like Jay Dilla who did that. He did 30 before Thursday. I was like, dude, if Jay Dilla could do it, I can do it, I just remember like no matter what, 30 beats. So it's like, I think a lot of my style came from that era. And just like,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Now let's talk about some music that you're working on, stuff that's not out yet. What can we look forward to? Like what's some either like some sounds or some styles or descriptive things about music you got cooking right now?
So I'm still trying to I try my best not to keep in one genre because I get super bored, Yeah. I really like EDM stuff right now, so I'm making a lot of house music, but I'm also working with this band, like I said, called Fighting Jazz. They're super dope, and we're trying to make like a lot heavier, like rap rock, kind of like some like Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park type stuff,
Yeah.
Or some like Renegades of Funk, like Rage Against the Machine type stuff. So I'm really trying to put something out like that, but also don't want to get lost in the sauce and come back to some hip hop. So I'm kind of making a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah. Have you thought about hitting up Echo the Savage for some input on that one?
It's so funny. A couple of my homies have worked with him, but I've never directly met him or like,
Well, shout out to Echo. He's definitely been on the show before. And he's fairly accessible. You should hit him up if you're interested. He would probably get back to you. But getting back to you, now I want to take a moment and kind of zoom out. Let's look at more music as a whole. What are some of the things about either like new music in general, if you're one of those people that's taking in the new, or if you're not, just music that's new to you that you found recently or you're checking out that you enjoy and you're finding inspiration in at the moment?
I'm finding a lot of inspiration from like overseas stuff. So like a lot of UK garage, like a lot of drill. I've low-key been listening to like a lot of EDM just because the drum patterns right now are going crazy. Like Skrillex's new, like whatever tip he's on is crazy. Like he's on some like Afro baile funk stuff. Baile funk is also super heavy. I've been DJing a lot lately. So like a lot of reggaeton, a lot of like Latin music, a lot of like just kind of like salsa bachata stuff has been in my head. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm trying to think of, oh God, what just came out? Oh man, this is stuck in my, I was listening to this on my way to Seattle the other day. Fuck, it'll come back to me. I'm sure it'll come back to me.
Right.
There was something that just came out recently I was going to ask you if you'd heard about, but I'll have to look for it after. But getting back into this, before we move into the next portion, this next question is probably the densest question in the interview. But we've talked a lot about, your experience with music, the actions, the reactions. But when it's just you and music one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
Man, I feel like music kind of gives everything, It can fill an empty room. It like gives me so many different forms of outlets, like I said, I've been dancing for a long time, and that like in breaking, that's a huge outlet. Like not only like physically, but just like listening to beats, like listening to old school boom bap, like their emotions kind of flow through. And then if ever I'm injured or I'm too tired, like it gives me a different outlet to go create, even though I can't like create physically, I can create, sonically, and it's just like, it's there every day. It like never leaves, and it's just something that's so intangible, but so important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very much so. Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. All right, but now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions. And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. But this first one's pretty straightforward. If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Fuck, only one is kind of crazy.
I know, right?
There's so many people.
I know. Now, it's not to say if you pick one person, everybody else is off the table. So this is just like, who is somebody that you would want to work with?
I would really want to work low-key with Skrillex. Like, for real.
The two of them in a room together.
It would be insane. Whoa. They're just two major producers, and they get... Also, Ludwig would be crazy.
Yeah.
Ludwig would be insane. His production style is insane. Like, what he did for the Black Panther soundtrack, he's like, I'm going to go to Africa to record some drums. Like, what? Either them or, who's the guy who produced for the Black Knight soundtrack, the Dark Knight soundtrack?
I couldn't tell you offhand.
Dude, that dude is cracked. He, like, they flew to Italy or something and closed down a whole city just to record some violins. Like, damn. And they are insane. So like, oh my God, what is his name? He's like a super big like composer. But yeah, producer wise, those would be the people I'd want to work with for sure. Oh, yeah.
Now I really want Skrillex and Pharrell in a room together.
Wouldn't that be cracked?
I mean, I imagine they probably have been, but we just don't know, or they like didn't do anything, but that would be wild.
They both grab the gnarliest samples. Like,
I remember I don't remember who was talking about this, so I can't quote for like where people to go, but there was somebody who was talking about how they were working with Skrillex, and Skrillex like just pulled up a pack of like drum sounds, and he had it like narrowed down.
Oh, Afrojack.
Like, yes, that first tiny strike of the kick, and he's like, and he blend it with this one and the tail of this one, like he goes to like that level of sound design.
Yeah.
And like, I remember him when he was, Sonny and From First to Last.
Right.
Like I remember that transition through. But then when he really started to break it down, you were like, oh, this man just...
That's what he does.
Like, this is just incredible. Like he really, he came in at a weird time. But I think he has done a lot, probably a lot more behind the scenes than we even really realized.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
He's cracked.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And then subsequently, who's a local person that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
I feel like I've kind of worked with most people locally that I like, at least that I've heard of and that I'm aware of. Thankfully, like, I'm like pretty tapped in with a lot of people. And thankfully, like, I've been fortunate enough to either like been in a room with them or kind of, you know, fucked around and got something done with them. So, but I mean, there's a lot of people killing it out here. Yeah.
Hell yeah. There's hundreds of episodes prior to this one.
Yeah.
No, I dig that. And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, it was guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show. And it doesn't have to be a venue. It could be anywhere. Where would you want to perform?
Dude, I kind of want to I think it'd be cool to do something at Pioneer, like Pioneer Courthouse Square.
Yeah.
Just like big center stage and just like let people surround. I've always wanted to throw like a b-boy battle right there.
Oh, that'd be such a good spot for it.
It would be so sick, you know, to do it in the summer, let people just kind of come and jam out, you know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Just, I mean, because our city is like growing, but it doesn't have that much stuff going on all the time, you know. So it's like something major would be super cool.
Yeah, I dig that for sure. All right, and then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, they could have put out an album yesterday. Who would you want an album from?
Damn. That's tough, dude. Could it be like, does it have to be them now, or could it be like a certain era?
No, you can, yeah, it can be them whenever.
Maybe like a better Wu-Tang Clan album. Like the last one they put out together that rich dude bought. Like some of the tracks got leaked. I was like, whatever.
That's fair.
If they could drop some like 36 Chambers type stuff.
Yeah.
Murder. That'd be crazy.
Hell yeah. I dig that.
Yeah.
All right. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. What can we look forward to between, let's say, now and May?
Now in May, dude, I don't know. Look forward to your daily life being better. I don't know when I'm dropping anything.
Fair enough. I could dig that. Then for this next one, go and look straight at your camera. Tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me at Suave Northwest on everything. Nice and simple for everybody.
Hell yeah.
Word.
And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Shout out to Fighting Jazz. Shout out to Phantom from the North.
Yeah, shout out Frano.
I haven't worked out with him in a while, but that fool's always tapped in. That fool works hard as fuck, you know.
Believe me, I know.
That fool deserves his flowers regardless, you know.
So.
Yeah, shout out to anybody in Portland making music and trying to come up.
Hell yeah.
Word.
All right, with that being said, I've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Good.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation.
Word.
But in all of music, what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? It's a deep cut. It's one not a lot of people would know. But it's one you think everybody should know.
Oh, damn. I feel like it's a popular album, but not a lot of people peeped it. It's that Lupe Fiasco album where he's pretending to be Amy Winehouse as a rapper. He just, oh my God, I wish I could remember what it's called, but like,
and I wish I knew too, because I'm pretty familiar with this stuff.
Like, it's relatively new, but it's so good. It's like conceptually, it's crazy. Like the songs sonically are so good, but like, it's just a wild concept.
Yeah.
That he's like, I'm gonna be Amy Winehouse as a rapper, and it's just gems.
Only Lupe could really pull off something.
Honestly, he's like,
I'm sure when you say the name too, I'm gonna know exactly what it is because I try to listen to everything he puts out. I don't know if you've heard his newest album, but Samurai is so good.
That's it, dude.
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Holy, I didn't even realize.
Yeah,
that's what the concept was. Now I feel so stupid.
Yes,
now
sir.
I have to re-listen to it with that in mind. I just thought it was a good album.
Nah, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's cracked.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Wow. That is good to know.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's such a good album.
Yeah, no, it's
oh my gosh,
fire. It's like one of the best albums he's ever put out, in my opinion. And
I didn't realize he was doing that.
yeah, because him and Amy Winehouse, or Mos Def and Amy Winehouse were close. And Amy Winehouse, like before she passed, like left Mos Def a voicemail. It's like, she's like, oh, I just have all these raps in my head and da da da. She's like, I think I want to make a rap album. And that's like where that concept came from.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been mentioned before, but if y'all haven't listened to that album, definitely go check it out at some point.
Crazy.
It is super
Crazy
good.
album.
All right. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
Suave.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.